Hi folks, and on my list for a while has been to talk about how to do and why we do hill sprints. And coincidentally, as I'm recording this just this morning, I happened to listen to a podcast about hill sprints. I actually picked up a good idea from that. So it's a good thing I didn't record this until now, but I said, better get off my butt and let's talk about hill sprints, what they are, why you might want to do them. So a couple of reasons why I would encourage you to add some hill sprints to your training is one, they help develop leg power. And secondly, they help recruit your fast twitch fibers by adding some speed and force. So let's talk about each of those. So leg power, what is leg power? Your legs are sort of like a spring when you're running, and the more power they have, the more you can propel yourself forward. Think of it like this. Imagine that in one hand you have a Nerf ball, in the other hand you have a Super Ball. You drop them both to the ground, which one's going to bounce higher? Well, the Super Ball will bounce quite a bit higher. Why? There's more force, more power inside that Super Ball. So the idea behind hill sprints is help you develop some leg power so you can get more push forward when you're running. When it comes to the fibers, so we have essentially, there's more than this, but essentially we have fast twitch fibers and slow twitch fibers. If you're the marathoner Kipchoge, you probably have a ton of slow twitch fibers because they're the ones that allow you to just go forever. And if you're Usain Bolt, you probably have a ton of fast twitch fibers because they're the ones that go really fast and go like this. We all have both of them. The amount we have of each one will vary based upon your genetics. So when you're doing distance running, which I would assume pretty much anybody watching this video is doing some level of distance running, whether it be 800 meter all the way up to marathons and beyond, you use your slow twitch fibers a lot. You can use the fast twitch fibers. What we need to do though is recruit them. Think about that as having them on the bench so that when your slow twitch fibers get tired, coach can say, hey, fast guys, come in here and help out for a little bit. Let's give the slow twitch guys some rest. You come and do some work. But if you don't recruit them, they're never sitting on the bench for you. And the best way to recruit fast twitch fibers is with speed and force. So they are hill sprints. The sprint is providing the speed and the hill is providing the force. So two reasons for hill sprints: leg power, and we want to recruit some fast twitch fibers. So you need a hill. You notice I said no treadmill. I've had people do hill sprints on a treadmill. I think it's very, very difficult to do these correctly on a treadmill, and my recommendation would be you don't bother. You want to be outside, you want a hill, and you want a steep hill because the steeper the hill, the more power. Now, a hill could be too steep, but generally you want a fairly good steep hill, and I wouldn't do these on a treadmill. So what you want to do is you want to do, if I get this paper up, you want to do a good warm-up. You're going to run several miles, make sure your body is well warmed up. You're going to want to do some dynamic drills like you would before track work or before you would do a race to make sure you're loosened up. You want to do a few strides. You want to make sure your body is really loosened up. The last thing you want to do is get into the fast running of sprinting and all of a sudden you pop a hamstring or something because your body's not really ready to go. So very important that you get yourself ready to go. Now when you do the hill sprint, you might start with, say, 6 by 10 seconds. Yes, seconds. They're very, very short. They are a sprint. You are going all out, everything you can give for those 10 seconds. And then you're going to have 1 to 2 minutes of walking recovery after that. Yep, you heard that right. You're only running for 10 seconds and recovering for 1 to 2 minutes. So what the heck is up with that? This isn't like your typical workout where you're trying to get your heart rate to something in particular or you're working on VO2 max. This is working on some physiology things. And so what we want is plenty of recovery so that you can do all 6 of these really, really strong. It is far more important that you're able to do them all well than try and shorten up that recovery and you get to the end and you're not running effectively because then you start to lose the benefit of the workout. So again, 6 to 10 seconds, they can be more than that. It's a sprint, 1 to 2 minutes of recovery. Now, here's the tip I picked up today. For your first one, make it kind of a moderate pace. I mean, you're going fast, more like tempo pace, but not all out, and do that for about 15 seconds. There's a couple benefits to this. One, it again helps you get your body used to that faster running up the hill. But two, when the 15 seconds is up, you can kind of mark the spot. You look and say, okay, 15 seconds is when I get next to this tree, this sign, this rock, whatever. Now you're going to do the rest of them for the roughly 10 seconds. It might be a little bit more, but you don't have to look at your watch anymore. You're just going to run to that spot and know you're done. And that will help you because looking at your watch to see, has 10 seconds gone by, it's just going to interfere with your running. So first one kind of moderate and get there. A few other tips for those. You want to progress your hill sprints. So if you haven't done these before, the first time you do them, you might do 6. The next week might be 8, then 10, then 12. I probably wouldn't go much above 12, but progress these as the weeks go on. Concentrate on form. even though you should be sprinting, with anything you're doing fast, it's very important that you feel like you're running well and that you're controlled and things are smooth. So if you feel choppy and like you're flailing, then you got to slow that down. Always think about really running well, because any type of speed stuff like this can help our running technique as well. Last couple tips, I recommend doing these early in your training cycle. So at the beginning of marathon training, the beginning of half marathon training, I wouldn't do these as you're getting closer to a race, because it does take a little bit out of you from a physiological standpoint. Your body's getting all worn down from the rigors of marathon training, whatever it is. So you're generally going to do it kind of early in your training cycle. And then strides. So people will say, well, gee, if I do these early in the training cycle, then aren't my fast twitch fibers going to be kind of unrecruited because I don't use them anymore? Strides also recruit them. So the hill work, those hill sprints, are really going to wake those fibers up, and then inserting some strides once or twice a week throughout the rest of your cycle, which is doing the same thing except you're not on a hill, is going to kind of keep those fast twitch fibers in the game.